So you want to know how to achieve big goals in life. Well, believe it or not, there is a strategy for this. It's something that was taught to Yanni and I many, many years ago by some uber successful people, and we have employed it in our daily lives to achieve phenomenal success, and we're going to share it with you now. All that and more coming up.
We are the gym that teaches people how to move instead of just exercise, because we believe that health is about performance, not just body image.
No, it's been fucking doing my head in recently.
What's up, everyone? In case we haven't met, my name's Rad Burmeister. I'm one of the co-founders of Unity Gym. That's my brother Yanni Burmeister, the other co-founder, and this is Phil White, our resident physiotherapist. And today we're talking how to achieve big goals. We've been talking about success and mindfulness and the way that you can apply the way that you can focus yourself into achieving the goals that you want. And we're going to go a little bit deeper into it today. I'm also going to reveal, I'm going to let you guys know this now for those of you that don't stay with us for the whole stream. We have had so many inquiries over the past month from new members telling us that they're here because they want to get more flexible. Well, today is your opportunity. The Mobility Masterclass, our most effective flexibility program, is going live at the end of this show for 72 hours at a massive discount with a bunch of other programs included. About $400 worth of value for $49 US. So if you want to get really flexible, get that program.
Yeah, absolutely. Are we too zoomed in, Richie?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I've just noticed that.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Yeah, cutting out my ear.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're cutting out my new quarantine haircut.
Oh man, poor Phil.
I had to go at myself with the razor with the electric razor the other day.
The electric razor,
and,
those clippers.
Yeah, clippers. That's what I was looking for. But man, it was.
You got a bit of a Kramer hair. Going
Yeah,
on
it's
there,
like because I figured out how to do these bits kind of, but I haven't figured out how to deal with this at all. So like by the end of this, it's just going to be like
it's going to be full Kramer.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Before we get started, you're not just the resident physiotherapist around here anymore. You're now the founder of Switched On Physio.
Yeah, I
Talk
kind
to us about that.
officially launched my new branding business, getting away from my name. And it's pretty exciting. I put up the new website, so if you haven't checked it out, it's switchedon.physio. And I put a little blog about why I've called it that. It's exciting. Like it's a kind of start of this new, part of my physio life, where I'm really hoping to, start to build something cool with you guys. And
there's some big stuff on the horizon. We were just talking about it this morning. I don't know how much I can give away just yet. But,
it's been a big week for, exciting plans in the future, and been talking with one of the people I used to work with at the Giants quite a lot about potentially doing some collaboration in exercise programming and rehab programs online.
Just quickly, the Giants Phil's referring to is an AFL, Australian Football League team. They are one of the, I guess you can almost say the top teams now in the league. They're
right
in
up
the
there.
top four.
They keep on injuring themselves though, so maybe not a good sign for my program. But
Well, you got to have a lot of data. That's the good thing.
Exactly. They have plenty of data.
But for those around the world watching, Australia is a bit unique in regard to the fact that we have 3 different football codes. We have the NRL, National Rugby League. We have the Australian Football League, AFL, and we have the what's the other one?
English
The
Premier
Union.
League.
The Union.
Yeah, not even talking about the soccer/football.
Australian Rugby Union. Yeah.
And then we've got soccer. What do they
only
call?
the biggest sport in the world.
Yeah, what do they call that? What do they call that in Australia though? What's it called?
Soccer.
The A League.
They call it
A-League.
the A-League.
A-League,
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So, AFL is, I guess they're all kind of as big as each other now, but I'd say there's more money in AFL than there is in NRL, definitely.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably in ARU as well.
I think so. I've worked
probably the more
with my
elite.
massage work. I've worked with rugby union teams and rugby league teams and AFL. And when I first went to the AFL team headquarters, I was like, "Whoa, this is serious."
I would call it the NFL of Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
So
And,
it's a big deal. It's kind of a big deal what we're talking about here.
Well, it's a
Yeah.
huge deal because if we go back 7 years ago, you were a massage therapist studying exercise and sports science. And, how old would you have been back then?
I'm just coming up to 30 now. So back when I met you guys, I was 22, 23.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
And and now fully fledged physio and founder of a business and working with us.
So.
It's been a goal on the back bench for Yanni and me for a long time. I think we said to you sort of in you know, like in a funny way years ago. One day we're going to be working with you, and you're like, oh yeah, whatever, we'll see, you know.
Mate, I've had it's all part of the plan. The plan is unfolding perfectly. Let's just say.
Yeah, so exciting stuff. And then yesterday I had my I do every 2 weeks I work with one of Australia's top physios who's been an Olympian physio for 30 years, and did a really good session with her. And then she was talking about how she's excited to like potentially collaborate on some things in the future as well. So it's just one of those weeks where it's like all this kind of stuff we've been doing over the years has just really come together nicely, and future's looking exciting.
So it's good, doesn't it, when the pieces of the puzzle start to click?
Do the work, eh?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, let's. I'm going to dive into the topic of today, and
Before you do, sorry, just one last thing about this week as well has been I've started doing a little show at 3 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And for those who did tune in, thank you. Thank you for your patience. I did one without sound for a little while, and I'm really appreciating
all the teething problems of live streaming.
Really appreciating how just solid Rich is with making this happen every day. So yeah, bear with me. I'm gonna like keep on working at making that better. So and I really love to hear from you guys about what you think would be useful to know. The plan is that I'll just really trying to keep it quite concise about giving you just like kind of a 10 minutes on one really important factor about how to avoid having to see a physio, how to avoid having to get getting injured. I'm going to try and get like a little presentation going with that, and then opening up to 10 minutes of questions as well. So pretty succinct, but yeah, really looking to get sort of good general principle questions, not specific physio treatments for you, but good information that can just help you really become your own physio.
Yeah, awesome,
absolutely.
So what we're talking about today, how do you achieve big goals in life? It is something that so many people, set goals and never achieve them. Can you relate? Can you let us know in the comments? Have you ever set a goal and not achieved it? Or even let us know about a time that you did set a goal and achieve it. I can definitely tell you that I spent the majority of my life setting goals and not achieving them until we started to learn how to act and how to create a map for success. And I'm just going to lead into it, and then Yanni can take over or follow on. The first thing that we've done, for those of you that aren't aware, we've set a 30-day challenge, which is now over, which the idea was to build a solid morning routine.
It's not over. It's never over.
No. Well, the challenge is over, but I'm leading
into that. The 30 days is finished.
The 30 days is finished. I'm leading into that, Yanni. If you haven't started the 30-day challenge, now is the time to do it. This is Friday, this weekend. A weekend should be a time for reflection on what you achieved this week and preparation for what you're going to achieve next week. I think that's a really important thing to understand. You shouldn't be using the weekends as a time to just completely switch off from everything, and then you get up on Monday morning and think, okay, what have I got to achieve this week? So if you haven't done so, start the 30-day challenge. You get the Waking Up app by Sam Harris, and you start meditating for 10 minutes. Then you read some affirmations that you have to write yourself, personal affirmations. Then you're going to listen to an audio book. This is the first one we had, Extreme Ownership, or you're going to read the book, 10 pages of a book or 10 minutes of the audio book. And then you're going to create a vision board where you have an actual physical board where you put pictures of things that you want in your life. And then from there, that primes you for the day. And then the idea is that you now act like the person that you want to be. So the person that you want to be, if you want to be a flexible person, which is something that we've been talking about this week, flexible people stretch every day. People that aren't flexible say, oh, I can't get flexible. And we say, how much do you stretch? They say, oh, I've tried here and there. Well, that's not what flexible people do.
Most importantly, flexible people don't make excuses as to why they can't fit stretching in. They build their lifestyle around being able to stretch every day.
And flexible people, unless you started as a kid, they weren't flexible all the time. Like we'd be considered flexible people now.
Yep.
We weren't flexible 5 years ago. We weren't. And we made a decision. We said, we're going to do it. And we started doing something that we couldn't do because we wanted to be someone that we weren't.
Yeah. Now, I want to just take a step back and talk about address something that is really poignant. Is that a word? Sure. Poignant? Yeah. Is really important.
Yeah, it's a word, mate.
Is really important, which is, what we talked about today, having Phil here, just having him on the show, him launching his company, him collaborating with industry leaders in his profession, us creating this team of just awesomeness that just reeks awesomeness from every area. None of this is by accident. It's all by design. And that is very much in alignment with what we're trying to do here. How to achieve big goals in life. Now, I think it was probably about 6 years ago or 5 years ago that I said to Phil, one day we're going to work together, you know. And at that stage, there was no clear path to making that happen. You know, Phil is a very, very switched on physio.
Pun intended.
He got job offers from all over the place, you know, and the reality was at the time when I said that we were nowhere near a position to be able to pay him what he's worth, you know, and so I didn't go, shit, how can I make this happen by creating more money to be able to give Phil or something like that. We got busy increasing our value so that we appealed to him, so that he was in a position to go, wow, I want to go work with these guys because I can learn from them, or that they can, you know, the collaboration will be valuable to both parties. I didn't sit there dwelling on the fact that I couldn't offer him a nice enough employment package, you know. This is the way you do it. You don't wish for things and then just hope they're going to happen. You get busy working on them. And what we got busy doing is working on providing a business opportunity for people that is that appealing that you can't say no to. You know, it's all designed. It's all by design. And you guys can do exactly the same thing. You know, we've built our lifestyle around our training. And, you know, people now, it's very easy. You know, I was interviewed yesterday by a business group, and for the very first time ever, someone said to me, wow, you're such an overnight success. You know, you've created these insane amounts of success basically from nowhere. And I sat there and was like, wow, really? Is that what it looks like? I said, got off the call and said to Rad, I just got called an overnight success. You know, and one of my great mentors, Kerwin Ray, once said, he said to me all the time whenever I had down days, it takes 10 years to create an overnight success. And that is certainly the case with us, you know.
Well, the road to success is paved with failure. And I think this is where so many people go wrong, because you have a goal, you know, and there's this, I'm here, I want to be here, but there's no map to get there. There's no walk this path and you'll get there.
Yep.
And if there was, then everybody would be doing it, if that was the way that success worked.
Yep.
If it was just a matter of going up to someone and saying, hey, I want to be here, I'm here, how do I get there? And they said, well, all you got to do is do this. Oh, sweet, I'm just going to do that every day.
Yeah.
And so the few people that achieve success are the people that become really comfortable with failure. And that's something that I was sitting right next to you when you were on that call, and I heard Dan point that out to you. And I was thinking about that. I was reflecting on it on the way home. I really let that sink in, and I thought, I really spent a lot of time reflecting on that one thing on the way home, how much we have become comfortable with failure. And I remember the time I was thinking about with advertising, I was thinking about the amount of failures that we've had with advertising, the amount of money that we would have seemingly flushed down the toilet to get to where we are. And I was trying to think, how many times have I created an advertising campaign that's failed? And it must be thousands. It would be in the thousands. And how many times have I created one that succeeded? It'd be less than 10 or 20.
Yeah.
And I remember how much the failures hurt in the early stages. Do you remember how much we used to hurt? We would put so much effort into this Facebook marketing campaign, and 5 years ago, like, Facebook was the golden ticket to your wealth. You know, everybody was raving about how you can use Facebook to make money, and we'd put all this effort into it, like weeks and weeks of working around the clock and creating all this collateral, and it flopped.
Yep.
We spent $1,000 on marketing, and we were lucky to make $100 back from it.
10,000.
Yeah, and it hurt. And
I'm the CFO.
And it hurt so much that you felt that pain, and you were like, oh my God! And it took almost. Sometimes I remember some of those failures took months to come back from, like before we even had the confidence to run at it again. And then I thought about what is it like now?
Yeah.
And we fail, and that feeling lasts for about. Like, it's such a minuscule amount of time. It just vaporizes, and your mind is immediately onto, okay, what's the next thing?
Well,
what are we doing? You know,
failure, like it's one of those things that if you're trying to do something that, you know, hasn't really been done before, like, most people will stop after a few of those failures and they'll give up. And that's what makes what you're doing valuable, is that you know, if you're learning from those experiences, if you just keep doing the same thing over and over again and, you know, not getting any different, then that's not valuable. But learning from those failures, and, like, that's a really valuable experience, which makes that, you know, end result just something that not everyone can do, and I think that's
Who was the guy that made the battery? Was it is it Tesla? Nikola
think
Tesla?
so.
Or Nicholas, yeah,
I think so.
In one of the books that I'm reading recently, I think it might be The Obstacle is the Way. he talks about how Nicholas says, if that is the guy that made the battery, how he was interviewed after 20 years or something of trying to make a battery, and they said, you know, you're such a failure. You've been trying. You've tried like on record like 10,000 times.
It's not the battery; it's the light globe, and he did design the light globe too.
Was it? I thought it was the battery.
No,
I'd have
it's the
sworn.
light globe.
Okay, well,
Anyway, doesn't matter.
either way, he says, and they say you've failed like 10,000 times to make a battery, and he says, I'm not a failure. I now know 10,000 ways to not make a battery.
A light globe.
A light globe, or
yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Whatever.
In the comments.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know,
we'll
I know.
get-
Adam
we'll
and
get to
Mulaney,
that.
we're going to get to the questions in just a sec. What we want to reinforce here, though, guys, before we start diving into people's personal physio questions, is that success and achieving big goals doesn't come by fluke. It comes by intent, and it comes by the very first thing that leads you down the path of success is about making that decision to start behaving like the person that you are trying to become, that your goals are, you know, and let's just use something really simple like getting flexible or losing weight or becoming more athletically fit, you know. You got to think about the way that person behaves. And we had, the reason why we really wanted to dive into this topic is because I get a lot of emails from people in response to my daily Inner Circle email that goes out, which is usually the key insight from this show, this recording, this podcast. And a lot of it is in the gist of, or in the context of, I can't do A, so I want A to come to me. I'm currently at a C level, and I want to get to A, so I want to bring A down to my level to make it easier for myself, rather than what do I need to do to level up, to think bigger, to get myself to A, you know? And if you don't start thinking like, okay, I need to be here, so I'm going to think like that person. What does that mean? Okay, it probably means I need to eat a little bit better. It probably means I need, you know, how does that person do it? How do they prepare their food so they don't end up eating junk food all the time? How do they structure their schedule around getting enough exercise? What do they do that stops them from being interrupted? You know, it's a whole different strategy. It's a whole different thought process, because most of us have a million excuses as to why we can't do those things. But there's no, you know, that person that you're trying to become, it doesn't just happen without being designed by nature with intent, you know, and you have to make the choice to just make that design that. Am I making any sense here?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can go a step further than that. Hearing you say that, I can definitely say with my hand on my heart that we would not be where we are if you didn't become a personal trainer in North Sydney, because all of this started from some of the clients that you were training when I joined the army that exposed you to what successful people are like, and they started to make you question the way that you were behaving. And then when I got out of the army, you were a different person than when I got in, and I thought, well, shit, if I want to be in business with my brother, I need to be on his level. And then for me, the biggest exposure that I got was when we opened Unity Gym, and we started to get personal training clients here that were CEOs and directors of companies. And before that, I'd never been exposed to people that were playing the bigger game before. And I had an idea in my mind of what these wealthy, successful people were like, and it was so misguided. It was so misplaced. It was this idea of you know, that people were given success, that they were born with it, you know. But when I met people that were walking the walk, it made me realize, wow, these people are playing a bigger game.
Yeah.
They're playing a bigger game than I am.
Yeah, and it starts here,
you know,
in the way that they think.
Yeah, I've been really reflecting on luck this week, and I think, you know, that part of success and luck is such a interesting interaction. And I just want to preface this by saying, like, I definitely don't think I'm successful yet. Like, I think there's, you know, I'm kind of at the beginning of my journey, and I'm really excited about the potential trajectory from with the people I'm working with. And I guess just like thinking about that luck of being, like, you know, having a mentor who's one of the highest regarded physios in Australia, who's, you know, an Olympian physio for 30 years, and then working with you guys where I have this platform to reach lots of people and do what I love and have that kind of, you know, more than just in a little clinic somewhere by myself, sort of talking to one person at a time. I get to talk to all you guys, which is amazing. And then this potential work with the Giants. Like, I was thinking, oh man, it's so lucky that I know these guys. But thinking about how you create luck is by turning up and doing things that, you know, put you in situations where you can have, you know, these sort of opportunities. And thinking back on it, the reason I first worked with the physio at the Giants was because I was, playing sport for Australia, and I was, taking my rehab seriously, and I went and sought out, I got advice on who the best possible person to see was, and he was my personal physio for a while, and then that started that interaction, and then, thinking of my mentor with the Olympian physio, that came from kind of taking the step further with my thesis and deciding to go and choose to present at a conference, the Sports Medicine Australia conference, and then making that decision to reach out to the person who I was so impressed with doing a presentation. And then with you guys, it came from working in a little massage place, and when there was the opportunity to come and see your place, I felt like just kind of going home and getting on with my day. But I thought, it'd be good to go and build these relationships, and that started 7 years of doing massages for you guys for free. So I'm definitely so
That's right.
It's kind of all these decisions where it's like, at the moment I just kind of got really struck by how lucky I was this week, and I was like, it's there's just so many times where if I just decided to take the comfortable route or do it was easy, then not go into the driven out really far to the Giants training grounds, worked for basically no money for them to be in that situation, then I wouldn't be in this place where I have a really exciting sort of trajectory. So
but you know what? I like the turn that you took on what you just said there, because I'm a believer that I don't like luck. I do believe plays a part in it. Like, there are chance meetings that some people get that other people don't, that lead to their success, and I completely respect that. But what I think is really important about what you just said is that you set yourself up to, when you have that chance meeting, to either make an impression on that person that creates the relationship or to not. And I've had plenty of chance meetings in the past with the right people, but I wasn't the right person, and I didn't even show up on their radar. So you put the work in when there's no sign of reward, and that's definitely what you've done. You worked, and so that when we first met you, you were head and shoulders above all the other sports masseuses that we'd been to. So for Yanni and me, we're, man, this guy's good, we've got to keep going to him. But there were other sports masseuses that we'd went to that had more experience than you, but they just didn't have their heart in it. They weren't, I don't know, they just weren't as good. And I was like, man, I don't want anything to do with that guy, Yeah. And so, yes, there is that chance meeting thing, but I think as well there's an element of making your own luck. You've got to.
I'm a big believer that the those interactions only occur when you're making the effort to make them work. I don't think that there's it's got a lot to do with luck. I
think you've got to create your luck by turning up and being receptive to it. If you just go off and
definitely
put your head down and don't sort of see these opportunities, and it's very easy to have been in those right places, but but the more right places you can turn up, putting the effort into playing sport for your country, and work. I was at the place I was working when I first met you guys. I was there because I was, doing a strength and conditioning course with a traveling athlete who, I really wanted to learn from. He was one of the top players in my sport, and so I went there and I got the job, and then that's how I met you guys. And if I just decided to, if I wasn't aiming to be that sort of, high performing athlete, then I would never been in that situation.
That's
so it really comes from taking those. Giving yourself the opportunity to have the luck.
Yeah. One thing that's really important, that really stuck with me, and it's something that I've lived my life off ever since, was a conversation I had drinking a glass of red wine at Ivy Pool Bar with Ben Pekulski when he was training for the 2014 Mr. Olympia. He was the biggest he's ever been. If you've never seen an Olympia level bodybuilder walk around at competition weight, 144 kilos, and he's shorter than us. It was an incredible experience hanging out with this guy.
He wouldn't have been able to walk through a door front on. He would have had to turn side. Seriously, that's not even a figure of speech.
And so we were sitting at Ivy Pool, and it was quite funny because a friend of mine managed it at the time, now has Donny's Bar in Manly, very successful bar, Matty Clifton. Hello. I know you don't watch the show, but anyway, give you a shout out. And I told him we were coming, and I anticipated I had Ben and another physique model with us who was traveling in the country. I anticipated that we might get a bit of flack from the security when you bring this huge, imposing guy, and so I called them ahead of time and said, hey, I'm bringing a friend of mine who's a professional bodybuilder. Can you just make sure we get in? He wants to go out. So they gave us a little island in the middle of Ivy Pool, and we're sitting there, and it was the first time in 4 years he'd had an alcoholic drink. And I said, we got to the gym, the pub, the bar, and because I knew everyone there and I'd worked with a lot of them in security and things like that, I got given like 70 drink cards for 3 of us. And I said, "Fuck, does anyone want a drink? I know you guys don't drink alcohol." He said, "Yeah, let's have give me a Pinot, a red wine or something, you know." And so we're sitting there sipping a red wine and we're talking, and I'd just broken up with a long-term girlfriend at the time, and I was a little bit down, and we were just going deep into that whole process. And he said, "Man, you know, one thing I've learned in life is focus on nothing else but making yourself a 10 out of 10, and 10 out of 10s will be attracted to you." And that is everything in life, you know, not just relationships. You know, we've got a quote on the wall now that sort of came from that, be phenomenal and you'll attract phenomenal into your life. And we get so caught up chasing, you know, external, extrinsic goals, money, this, that. And what we don't realize is that most of the time the answer is that we have to change. We have to work on ourselves to level up, and then those things will become abundantly available to us, you know. Mm-hmm. And this sticks for money for me too, because I have made copious amounts of money in different times in my life and never been financially successful, you know, and I had to change my programming around how I manage money, had to change my programming around how I manage health, relationships, work, my career, you know, to be where we are now. And I think that's really important for people to understand.
Yeah.
Start being phenomenal and you'll attract phenomenal in all areas of your life.
And if you're in this group, you're obviously here for, you know, health and fitness reasons, strength and flexibility. You know, one of the cornerstones of success is physical health and fitness, right? Like it's one of those things that has this cascading effect with everything else.
Absolutely.
I mean, in Extreme Ownership, those guys talk about how important it is for them that they start their day with the workout, because the workout, it not only does it keep you fit and healthy, but it primes you for having a good work ethic for the whole day.
Absolutely.
Now, I know that everybody doesn't get the opportunity to work out in the morning, but even just doing it daily, you know, just keeping yourself fit, keeping yourself healthy, so that when you look in the mirror, you're proud of what you see. You're not looking in the mirror with regret.
I question what you just said. What you just said. I know that not everyone gets the opportunity to work out in the morning. You know, I've seen documentaries about people, and I used to train a lot of actors, and actors were one of those types of people that they could not choose when they did things. If they were working on a project, you are on a schedule, you get given your shooting schedule, and it can be at all sorts of times in the day. And I used to go through this with people at Link and other people that I trained. And, you know, even Dwayne Johnson's gone on record saying this. Often he has to start shooting at 5 a.m. in the morning because they need that light in the shot. He still works out at 3:30.
Yeah.
You know, he still gets up and does his workout because he has that mentality drilled into him. How I work out is how I start my day, and that carries through my entire day. So I would argue that everyone does have the opportunity to start the day with a workout. They choose not to based on their current comfort.
Oh, look at that. A bit of tough love from Yanni.
Yeah.
I'm normally the one dishing out the tough love, but Yanni's got it in droves today. So let's get Phil to answer this question here. We got, because we're running out of time, Adam Meliani has said, I got a question for Phil. I suffered a minor injury in my left shoulder last week. It was hurting for a couple of days, but now I am seeing the pain go away tremendously. For the past week, I've been putting exercises for the shoulder and from the shoulder and rehab program into Monday and Thursday workout. I am really seeing the pain go away. Is it safe to go back to Monday and Thursday workout next week?
Yep, just my usual caveat of like, I can't give you specific advice, but I can give you ways to sort of think about this. And I think you've gone about it in a really good way, and that you've, you know, gone to the shoulder rehab program, which, if you're doing that and you're seeing improvement, you're not feeling the pain, you're feeling like the trajectory is pretty good with it, everything's feeling a whole lot better, then that, you know, is sort of, and you've said it's sort of a minor injury, then that's a pretty good sign that things are heading in the right direction. And it's one of those things that you can kind of just play around with and see if the trajectory is still good doing the regular workout, then do that. And if it sort of, you know, isn't, like, catch it early, like if it isn't feeling great, then back it off a little bit. But yeah, it might be worth, if you're doing the phase 2 live workouts at the moment, even just taking it back a step to phase 1 just for those 2 days, just to make it that little bit easier. That's a way of doing it. Or subbing in some of the similar exercises from the rehab program. So instead of doing, so think about the vertical push-pull movements you can do from that rehab program, in replacement of those on the first 2 days. In terms of like the when you should definitely go and see a physio or go and see someone, I actually did a little episode yesterday on red flag signs, which is basically those symptoms that we're always asking all these questions about your health and all these, things that might seem a bit irrelevant and strange. But I did a little episode just talking about those and how to sort of know when to go and definitely see a medical professional about what's going on. I don't think this is very relevant to you. You said it's a little minor injury that, has gone away pretty quickly. But I wanted to put that out there because at the moment it's been interesting. My partner's an emergency doctor, and it was super quiet in the emergency department for the weeks when the coronavirus really kicked off. But now it's become really, really busy because all the people who usually would be going to see a doctor and getting symptoms sort of screened and getting issues dealt with early have now not gone and seen a doctor. So suddenly they're coming in and they're that much more serious because things have been left. So I did a little episode yesterday talking about those kind of signs and symptoms to look out for in your own health, to think, okay, maybe I should go and just get things checked. And just to be really clear, I'm not trying to scare people. If you have one of these things, it doesn't mean you necessarily have something really wrong with you, but they're generally the signs just to go and get things checked out before you, go on by yourself in this sort of home isolation time.
Yep, absolutely. It's a great question that's just come through from Aidan Potts. Very quickly, guys, Lee Clements, good decisions lead to luck. Yeah, look, I mean, what do people say? Luck is a mix of hard work and opportunity or something like that? Or
no fate but what we make for ourselves. Sarah Connor.
Come on.
Recognised.
Matroni, no fear of failure, embrace the journey as a learning experience. Yeah, look, I've got to the point now where I don't fail. I either win or I learn. That's the reality. Like, as long as you're perceptive and conscious enough to see the lessons in your failures, then you can't fail. You win or you learn. You know.
So Aidan Potts is saying, hey guys, was wondering about scapular winging and is it something everyone should be trying to fix? I've seen some people say it's a non-issue, but it seems to be dysfunctional scapular movement. Love to hear your thoughts. My thoughts are, I don't think it's something that everyone should be trying to fix. It just depends on what it's like. Yanni and I were talking about this recently. We've got a video, it's one of our most popular videos on YouTube. If you click on the Unity Gym page on YouTube, it's one of the top 5 videos there on scapular winging, which is a really good general strategy for fixing scapular winging. But honestly, if you do the UMS and you stick to it properly, just by doing the bent arm and straight arm strength movements, and if you learn how to control your scapula properly, it fixes a lot of scapular winging issues on its own, and then you can use that YouTube video to go a little bit deeper if you want to. Phil, thoughts?
Yeah, I think you're spot on there. I think a lot of people get really hung up on trying to, I guess, find, like, when you only think about scapular winging, you're not thinking about how your shoulders are functioning as a whole. And I think if you've got functional shoulders that you can you are able to go through the Unity workouts where you've got this balance of push and pull, vertical and horizontal. Like, if you're able to do all those movements without pain and without issues, then it's more about the function than having like a particular thing that's happening with your scapula. So I think people get a bit hooked on just trying to find things and fix them without thinking about like how your shoulders are functioning as a whole. And I think if you have the balanced program and you're doing the technique really well, then if you do have issues there, then they will resolve. So I think it can just be a bit tempting to get a bit hung up on scapular winging without it being an issue.
The thing with the UMS program, and at least the way we train, and the way any really good strength coach will train, I know Sebastian Ora does this too, you do a combination of movements that are really dragging the scapula under load through their full ranges of movement, and then you do a combination of movements where you're learning to set the scapula and hold it in an isometric load whilst you move, like on the barbell bench press or the barbell overhead press. And as long as you're doing a combination of those two, then you're going to strengthen the muscles that are weak. Like, usually there's two reasons why
scapular push-ups and stuff
that's
like
right.
that as well.
Well, that's the moving the scapula, There's two reasons why you have scapular winging. One is usually because there's a weakness in the stabilizer muscles in the shoulder, the levator scapula, things like that. The other is that you've gotten damage to the dorsal scapular nerve from like a trauma. Very common is whiplash from a car accident or something like that. And if you've had like a severe trauma that's damaged the dorsal scapular nerve,
Long thoracic nerve. I'm glad we got Phil here.
I love long thoracic nerve.
If you've had damage to that, then some evidence shows that like surgery can fix it. But you know, it's very rare. It's very rare that we come across that sort of thing. Most of the time it's just general weakness, and if it's just general weakness, then just learning to take your body through that range of movement in all planes, so elevation, depression, retraction, protraction, and then also learning how to set the scapula for doing the big heavy lifts is going to fix the problem over time, right?
Yeah, which is Aidan's just said here, thanks for the consultation the other day. So we were actually did an online consultation the other day, and we were having a look at some shoulder stuff, and what he said there, the active hangs in the morning is what I've talked to him about to help with shoulder positioning, and I think that's just a really good one for you guys out there. Whenever you're about to, I like to do it just before any upper body workout, and even for deadlifts and squats as well. It's a really good one to get the shoulders in place. But if you think about doing an active hang where you bring your sternum up as if it's on a piece of string, and then draw your shoulders away from your ears, that puts you in that really good position for your pushing and your pulling vertical and horizontal. So that's a really good little tip just to try and, if you're thinking like, oh, I do the push and pull and whatever, but you're not quite getting that shoulder positioning right. I think there's no better way than the active hang to really give you that feeling of what you're aiming for while you're doing your movements.
Awesome. And I tried personally. I tried for 10 years trying to fix specific issues in my body that I was so hung up on, like, how can I make this work better? And none of it actually got better until we created the UMS, and I just started training flexibility and strength, doing balance between pushing and pulling movements. And then all the things just sort of started to go away, Yeah. Anyway, guys, we're out of time. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. If you are ready to go to the next level and you want to become a flexible person, the best chance you're going to get for the next couple of months is to get our Mobility Masterclass at a heavily discounted
Hey, thanks for watching that video. If you liked it, consider subscribing to our channel, and make sure you click the notification bell so you know when our weekly videos are uploaded. Now, the best thing for you to do if you want to stay connected with us and get free online coaching is to join our private Facebook group. It's called the UMS Movement Mastermind, and we go live daily where we answer our members' questions. It's very interactive because you can post questions while we're live and we interact with you on the show. You can also upload videos or pictures of yourself with any movements, any stretches, strength training movements, calisthenics, weightlifting, anything that you're struggling with, and we'll critique you, give you feedback, let you know how you can get better. It's a really valuable resource. It allows a lot of communication with us and also our senior tribe members. You'll get answers very, very quickly, and it's absolutely free. So jump on Facebook, search for UMS Movement Mastermind and join now. Until next time, have a great day.
Very excited. Next week we're going to have the table. Despite how many of you love seeing, there's no shortcuts to mastery and movement. Destination doesn't change overnight, but your direction will.
The gym is not the place to beat up the body that you hate. It's the place to build the body that you love.
We are the gym that teaches people how to move instead of just exercise, because we believe that health is about performance, not just body image.